Hey guys, welcome back to Fill My Cup podcast. Thanks for listening in. This is an interesting story, honestly, for you and me both, because this was a random opportunity to hear someone's story. It's actually the person, her name is Ligia, and she owns this podcast studio of where I'm at currently. And she knows the mission of what I'm trying to do, which is to share the message of the gospel, to talk about personal testimonies, to share my faith and just have these faith-based conversations. And I just think she loved this purpose, this mission of what I'm doing and why I'm using my voice and this platform I have to talk about God. And she said, as a matter of fact, I have a God story that if she'd be willing to have me, I'd love to share. And my answer was, of course, like, bring her on. So I actually haven't heard it yet, but I'm going to hear it with you guys. And I'm excited to hear it. So we're in it together. Everyone, welcome Ligia. Hey.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. I'm excited to hear it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
It's actually an interesting story, right? It's about how God told me to remove my breast implants and the whole journey to find my true identity.
Oh, wow. This is going to be deep. Everyone grab a cup of coffee, fill your cup with some coffee, and sit and listen to this because I think this is going to be good. Let's hear it.
Okay, so when I was 16, I had the brilliant idea of putting breast implants because I was influenced by the media, it was very trendy at the time. It was actually, I just learned this recently, but it was when FDA authorized breast implants to be put in people because it was banned for a while.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know. Of course, I didn't know it was banned here in the US. So I'm originally from Brazil. And when I was a teenager, when I was 16, I made my mind I need breast implants. And I managed to convince my mom that I needed breast implants.
Like to keep up with other women that were there that you were seeing, just kind of culture of what you saw.
And I was feeling horrible the way I was. Like, I need the breast implants to feel better, to feel beautiful. Okay. And I managed to convince my mom to do it. I looked for doctors because in the beginning she didn't want to. So I looked online, I found doctors. And when I would go to the consultation, I was underage. So they wouldn't no, what are you doing here? You're 16. I need your parents. And some wouldn't do the surgery. They would say, no, you're a minor. We don't do that in people underage. But then I found a doctor and I convinced my mom to go there. And I really trust that doctor. By the way, afterwards, he also did surgery on my sister-in-law. My brother did a hair implant with him. He's a great doctor. And at the time, breast implants everybody was doing. And it was beautiful.
Right.
And I did a surgery when I was 16 years old. And I was so happy. Like, with the new breasts, I could feel more confident. Whatever I was wearing would look amazing. Mm-hmm. I was feeling great. And the surgery went well. The doctor did a great job. The recovery was amazing. No problems at all. And at the time, he told me that the type of breast implants that he was putting on me was the best one available. And actually, it's from France. It says here. From the
now that you can see them?
Yeah. I didn't remember because I had this for 16 years. I only remember that it was from France when I saw this. Then I had the flash like, oh, he was telling me about this is great. This is the best brand. And this is permanent. You don't need to ever replace. Because before they had this idea that you can only have it for 10 years and you have to replace it.
Okay.
He said, no, this is permanent. This is the best one available. You're going to love it. It's the best one in the market. And I did the surgery. So about 14 years later, I was having health issues that I couldn't find what they were. Because everything was fine with me. All the tests were great. But I was having so many symptoms that I didn't know where they came from. I was feeling fatigue. I was having migraines. I was having joint pain, muscle pain, weakness, like body ache. Everything was sore all the time. And I was feeling tired to the point that it didn't make sense because I adopted a healthy lifestyle. I was eating pretty well. I was exercising. I was sleeping. I was doing everything, drinking water. My tests were great. The doctors would say, like, there's nothing wrong with you.
Everything was going fine. Everything in your life was technically right, but something was off.
My body was awful with tiredness, also foggy mind,
Okay.
blurry vision. I would always hear a weird noise, always 24 hours, like electricity noise. I don't know. It was a noise bothering me. And I never noticed so many symptoms. My stomach was bad, and I didn't relate to the breast implants. Then I think it was around 2019 or early 2020. I had a dream that I had like a tumor in both of my breasts. And then I woke up, and God always gives me dreams about things.
I believe that. I know some people are like, I don't know that God speaks through dreams. I think he speaks like through only the Bible itself. But I really do believe that God speaks through dreams. I've had really crazy stories with dreams. So none of this to me is like, no, that's not true. Yes, it's so
Yes.
true.
With me, God uses my dreams a lot, and it's crazy. I would have like 30, 40 stories about dreams that I had, and it was either God telling me something bad is going to happen, so pray to protect yourself, or sometimes things that he couldn't I had to go through, but to be stronger for that situation, he was telling me like pray, because then you'll be stronger
Okay,
to go
maybe
through
at the end of
this.
this story, I want to hear maybe what I want to hear. I love these kinds of stories, and I just think they're cool to
With
listen to.
dreams, right? And I never underestimate the dreams that I have, because it's always God's telling me something.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to differentiate regular dreams with nothing, but dreams that are spiritual and he's telling me something. So I had this dream, and I woke up thinking, wow, what God is telling me? Like, am I sick? I have cancer or something? Like, what's going on? And I started asking God, please tell me what it is. Show me. Am I sick? I have cancer. That's why I'm so tired. That's why I have so much pain and all these symptoms. And a few days later, my friend posted telling people like, "Oh, my mom is back home from the hospital. She's fine." And then I was like, "What happened to your mom? Was she sick?" And then she's, "Oh, you have no idea. She removed her breast implants." And I was like, She removed her breast implants? Why? Oh, she was really sick. She was having this, and that.
Which is exactly what you were having.
And after going through so many doctors, finally one doctor told her, remove your breast implants. They are causing you all these issues. And then I said, how is she feeling? Oh, she's perfect. After removing the breast implants, she's a whole nother person. You have no idea. Her skin is better. She's sleeping better. The pain went away. She's great. And then I was like, I just had the dream, right? And then this happens. And then this friend told me about an Instagram page that talks about, it's in Portuguese though, but there's pages in English as well for talking about breast implant illness, which in Portuguese is doença do silicone. And then I was like, let me check this out. And then I was reading, I have, from like 30 symptoms, I have 28. Now it makes sense. And then I started pinpoint when these symptoms started. It was about 1 year after I put the breast implants. So I started having dairy allergies. I couldn't handle dairy anymore. And then it progressed to gluten and many other things that I can't eat, plus the joint pain, muscle pain, weakness. I woke up feeling like I didn't sleep. And I had an amazing night. I didn't wake up throughout the night. And I woke up like I was in pain and tired. And it was horrible, horrible. There was a long period of time I was having migraines with no cause. Like, why am I having migraines? No reason why. So after I learned about this breast implant illness that I never heard about it, I started praying to God like, okay, so should I remove my breast implants? That's what I have to do. So help me prepare a doctor. And then one day, random, one girl that worked in my barbershop, she was talking about, oh, you see this influencer, she just removed her breast implants. And the doctor is right here in Florida, and he's one of the best in the country. I was like, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Yes.
A doctor is specialized in this type of surgery.
And it just, like, God literally opened the doors for you to do what he was telling you needed to do.
When I started praying, things started happening.
Yeah.
I prayed and I just wait. Let's see what happens. And things were happening. Then I was like, okay, who's this doctor? Let me see. He's in Jupiter, so he's really close to us. His name is David Rankin, and he specializes in removing breast implants when he learned about how bad they are for our health. So he doesn't, if you go there looking to put breast implants, he's not going to do it. He only removes because he knows the damage.
Wow.
And he became specialized in that type of surgery.
So he's literally like, oh, I'm going to go into business because all these women are going to recognize that they're trying to get their value and they're trying to feel confident in putting breast implants in, but they're going to come to him and he's going to remove them to basically be like, you have so much more value than finding it in that.
Exactly. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should go there. But I was afraid because, of course, I didn't want to remove them. I like my breasts with implants. So
but at what cost? The cost of your whole body deteriorating, but at least you look good.
Exactly. And then I was debating in my own mind, like, I'm sick, I need to remove. But then how I'm going to look like? Because imagine, I did this when I was 16 years old. So this became a part of my identity, of who I was. And to give up on this was very difficult. So I went to the doctor. And I pray to God, like, is this the doctor that I should do my surgery? If yes, when I go there, I'll feel 100% confident. So I went there for a consultation, and I just love him. He didn't say anything. He didn't promise me anything. He didn't do anything special. But I just feel like he's the one. That's the guy. Okay, they gave me the estimate for the surgery, and he had a 2 years wait list. But I couldn't make the decision at that time. I was still like, I don't know if I should remove, how it's going to be. I don't recognize myself without this. I was 16. Now I'm like 33, 32. So after going there, it took a year for me to decide. And throughout this process, I was praying to God to prepare my heart, prepare my mind, so I could handle the whole process, the whole situation. And then I was just praying. And I finally decided, okay, I'll do the surgery. Because still there is a 2 years wait list. So even if I sign up for today, like, okay, let's do it, I'll have to wait 2 years. So I talked to my husband, and another thing that God also prepared him to support me. Because imagine if he says, no, don't remove, you're going to look ugly.
Right.
I would say, okay, I'm not going to remove.
There's 2 people now, and you're married.
Yes.
So there's 2 people now in this decision, basically. And it's like, what if he wasn't on board with it? Now, like, you're in that position to have to choose for the both of you.
Right. If he didn't support me, I'll feel awful. I wouldn't have the courage to do it. So I talked to him, and he said, you know what, just go and schedule, because it's going to be 2 years from now. So if you don't schedule now, imagine you schedule 1 year later, you still have to wait 2 years, so it's going to be 3 years. So go. I support you. He was 100% supporting me. And I was like, oh my God, are you still going to love me with all my breast implants?
Isn't that so
interesting? Insecure.
It's like a joke, like, oh, are you still going to love me without them? But it's like not a joke. Like, how many women out here, this one's, I guess, like really mainly for the women, considering what we're talking about, but like how many women here are finding their identity and their worth and their value in like, oh, am I going to be lovable if I'm 5 pounds heavier? Am I going to be lovable if I don't have boobs? Am I going to be lovable if my body isn't perfect? Like all of these things that we find, if my hair's not long enough, if my eyelashes don't have the serum, like all of these things, we find our identity in our makeup, everything, and we laugh it off like, oh, like it was just like so crazy for me to say that. But there are people currently that are going to listen to this that are like feeling convicted because they're finding way too much worth in other things.
In things that we shouldn't. So
yes,
I was considering like how it's going to be after I remove, how I'm going to look like. I'll be still attractive. Like he's going to see me as a beautiful person. I was having these mental talks with myself. And then, but I was praying throughout the whole process, asking God to help me. Please help me go through this. And then I decided to schedule the surgery. So last year, around October or November, I don't remember, that's when I called and I said, hey, I want to do the surgery. Let's just schedule. But then things changed when it took me a year to decide, right?
Right.
So their staff said, okay, fine, but now the price is different because we had an increase. Since you came, it's a year. We can't honor the price. And also before, they would charge $500 deposit to lock the date. Now they charge half. And I wasn't expecting because I thought, okay, I have 2 years. I pay 500 and then I have 2 years to figure it out.
Right.
And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do now? I don't have half of the money and they increased the price. So I asked the lady in his office, can you please honor the price you guys gave me? I'm so sorry it took me so long, but it's a hard decision. I couldn't decide before. And she said, okay, I'll check. And then she never called me back. The days were passing, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. I was like, oh my God. And then I was praying, please, God, please.
Like, you gave me the dream. You told me to do it. I'm going to do it. Like, help.
Help me with that. And I was waiting. I would call. She didn't call me back. She wouldn't answer. I don't remember how long it took my baby, maybe like 15 days for her to call me back. And she said, oh, I'm sorry it took me so long. I got a week vacation. And it was hard dealing with the office, trying to honor. And I did my best. And I was able to get the same offer for you. And we can schedule with a $500 deposit. I was like, oh, thanks, God.
Wow.
So it's a sign that I have to move forward.
Yes.
And now there's no
the door is
turning
open
back
for you. Like, everything God has literally given you to be able to be like, I'm trying to help you.
Yes.
Go. You had to go.
I was like, okay, looks like it's a sign. Now, no turning back anymore. So we scheduled for October of 2024.
But I can't help but notice that it's 2023 and they're
And
currently
already
on the
did.
table.
So whatever date they gave me, I got that date. I accepted. That was the first available. And they said, we have a wait list. If someone cancel, I can call you because you're in Florida. Do you have availability? I say, yeah, 100%. Perfect. They put me in the wait list. And then again, I prayed, God, I don't know which day is going to be the day, but if I need to remove these sooner, if this is making me sick, please find a date sooner for me.
So all through this time, how much time passed from when you first went in till...
I think I first went, 2022, 2021, the first consultation with the doctor.
Okay.
And then it took a year for me to decide and schedule.
So all this time is passing, and are you getting sicker, or are you
Yes.
just kind of the same, sicker?
I felt I was feeling more and more tired, and I was feeling more and more joint pain. So when I was exercising, I was feeling so weak. It was weird. And I was having a lot of problems with my stomach, and all the food I ate was making me sick. Everything was giving me rashes and allergies. It was awful. And plus, when I wake up, it's funny because some things I only realized that I had those symptoms after I removed, because then I felt the relief. And then
Right.
I didn't even notice I was so sick. When I removed, I felt huge relief.
Right, like you didn't even realize because it was just normal for you at that point. It was
Yes.
like all these years. So it's like, oh, it's just my
I got
body.
used to it.
Wow, you got
Exactly.
comfortable in feeling that sort of
And
way.
feeling sick all the time. And where was that? The
You go and God worked it
schedule
out. to
for
get your
24.
Yes.
And then I said, God, if I'm so sick because of these implants, find a date sooner. But before you find a date, please prepare my heart, prepare my mind, because I wasn't still prepared and confident. I made a decision. I'm going to remove. And throughout this process, another thing I did was I was praying to God first, asking for forgiveness, because when I did this, I was being, what is the word? I was,
Selfish?
besides selfish, it's like I wasn't rebellious too, but I wasn't appreciating the way God made me. I was just, like, no, I don't like the way you made
Like
me.
basically God made a mistake.
Yes,
like
and I
you-
need more breasts.
Yep, you had to fix
Why
it.
you didn't make me different? So the first thing I did, I asked for forgiveness, and then I said I was stupid, I was dumb, I was young, but now I want my real identity. I want to be, because before I was born, God saw me how I would be. He imagined me this way. Why I want to change? Why I'm so like uncomfortable being who I am?
Wow, that's a
Because
really
through
powerful message.
His eyes, I was perfect, and I'm sure God got upset with me. Like, why you're doing that? Why you're doing this to yourself?
Like, you're my daughter. I made you perfect. Like, I literally knit you in your mother's womb. I formed you. You're
Yes.
wonderfully and fearfully and beautifully made. And then you're basically looking at me and saying, God, you made a mistake. Now I'm going to go fix myself with some surgery.
Right. So I did a lot of this prayer, like, please forgive me for being so stupid. I was young, and now I want to be whoever you want me to be. And I don't need these breast implants, because this is not my identity. This is not who I am. And I want my health back. So they found a spot for me sooner. They called me 2 weeks before the surgery, which was in February this year. And they said, we have a date 2 weeks from now. Do you want to take it? It was February 14th.
And you were going to be waiting still waiting. You would typically still be waiting.
Right. I was supposed to have the surgery next October, 2024. So they called me and said, we have a date. Do you want? And I said, okay, give me 30 minutes. Let me talk to my husband.
Again, putting it off. Like oh my goodness, they open it right up for you. And you're like, okay, a little bit more time.
Give me 30 minutes. So I asked my husband, what should I do? I can do the surgery now, or I can wait until October next year. Because we have a business, so I had to have someone replacing me. I had to have a lot of things in place. And I had only 2 weeks to do the exams prior to the surgery and to find the person to replace me because I'll be away for a couple weeks. So he said, you know what? Do now. Why are you going to wait? And I said, okay, but if I do now, we have to pay. And we're talking, removing the breast implants is more expensive than putting in. So a surgery to remove without the lift, just removing it, it's about $8,000 to $12,000.
Wow.
And to put breast implants, you find doctors for like $3,000 in Miami. So
why is it so much more expensive to remove it?
I don't know. I think it's a bigger surgery.
It's harder. Yeah. Wow.
And it's actually more painful than putting in. The recovery, it's harder than putting. I felt it was worse than putting in.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so he told you to go do it.
He said, let's do it. Let's do it. And then, okay, fine. Then I called the lady. Yeah, sure, let's do it. And then she said, okay, I'll send you the link for the payment. And I was like, okay. And then I was again, okay, how am I going to pay? I could use my credit card, but then I'm going to have interest. And I was like, okay, we have Care Credit, which is a credit card for medical expenses where you don't pay interest. But the surgery, initially I was supposed to do breast implant removal plus the lift. So it was about $15,000.
Mm-hmm.
And my Care Credit had only $5,000 limit. And then I was like, okay, I need to come up with $10,000 more. And then I prayed again, like, God, okay, you know what I will do? I'll go to Care Credit and ask them to increase my limit. And I know you're taking care of everything. You are my God. You're going to provide.
Yes, that's a word for somebody. God will provide.
Yeah.
Won't he do it?
If everything is going so well, you're preparing everything, I don't have to worry about the money because I know you provide.
Yep, and he does. He comes through. He really does. So
I went online and there is a robo chat. It's not a person that you can talk, right? And then they said, increase limit. And the robot said, do you want to increase your limit? Yes. Okay, how much you want to increase?
I love that you're changing your voice for the robot. Like you're giving it a personality. Yeah. Wow, it sounds nice.
It
was robot.
It was clearly a robot. It was not a person because you see he responds right away. And then I asked for 15,000. It's like
and
triple.
The robot gave it to you.
It's triple.
Yeah.
From 5,000 to 15,000. And immediately it says, your limit is approved. 15,000. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I need. Because then you pay without interest, right?
Yes.
So amazing. 24 months to pay without interest. So God provided the resources. The day of the surgery, I went there and I only saw the doctor in the morning, right, prior to my surgery. Before that, I just did the exam, so I didn't see him. And then in the examination room before the surgery, he looked at me and he said, why you're doing a lift? I said, I don't know. I think I need, because you're going to remove this huge thing. I think I need the lift. And he looked at me, no, you don't. I said, no, I don't. You sure? Because I was really afraid of the cuts for the lift. Mm-hmm. It's a bigger scar. I didn't want to go through that. It's huge.
Right.
So he said, no, you don't need one. You're young. I'm pretty sure your skin will retract and you'll be just fine. Your implants are not that big. You didn't have kids yet. I'm pretty sure you'll be fine without it. And then he grabbed the permanent marker and he said, let me show you if I do the lift. And then he started marking my breast and it was a huge scar. I didn't want that. He said, if I just remove, I'm going to do a scar like this under your breast, so you'll be fine. And then I said, okay, I trust you. You're the specialist. Let's do this. I'm not completely confident you're right, but when I'm there in the surgery, after you remove my implants, if you see that I need the breast lift, you do it and remove the skin and do whatever you have to do. Because I thought I would have too much skin. But if not, don't do it. So I didn't know if he was going to do or not until I woke up.
Right.
Because I said, I trust you, but based on your judgment when you see it, because I already paid for both.
Right.
And then I didn't know what was going to happen. So I went to the surgery. I slept. The team he has is all women, and they're very caring, and they're amazing. They are amazing people. They make you feel so comfortable.
Wow.
And then when I woke up, I didn't know. Did we do the lift or not? Like, what happened? What happened? And then the nurse said, no, you didn't need the lift. He just removed your implants. But until that time, I didn't see this. I haven't seen it yet. So I was still under the anesthesia. I was sleepy. My husband took me home. They put drains on you. They gave me medication for pain. So I was fine. I was not in pain. And that day, besides having this anesthesia, it's like you're in a hangover. It's a weird feeling. But I had so much energy like I never had in my life. I didn't remember how it was like to have energy.
Just like that, and literally right when it was removed, you had this
Right.
energy back.
All the women that remove the breast implants, they tell this story that the day they come back home and the next day, they feel energy. You feel like you can run a marathon. You feel energetic. And then I haven't seen this yet. And then towards the end of the day, I was like, hey, Chico, my husband, can I see my implants? Because I was curious to see it. And that's when the last piece was revealed to me. So these type of breast implants, they are textured. They're not used in the United States. They're only used in Brazil. Here, doctors don't use this type of breast implants. And this is the type that FDA recognize. They never recognize. They recognize that this one is causing cancer because it's textured. Even though all of the breast implants can cause damage, this is the worst one.
Wow, and that's the one.
And then when I saw the texture, I was like, I had goosebumps. Like, that's why God gave me the dream. If I didn't remove this, if I didn't accept the process,
it would have been cancer.
I'll have cancer for sure. Because why God gave me that dream?
It was a warning. He was literally warning you. If you don't remove these, it gets worse. The tumors. It would have turned into cancer.
Exactly. And that's why I believe that God make the process of removing much faster.
Wow.
Yes.
That is the craziest story. And you didn't even think about it until the dream is what really brought you to the edge. And then the friend, and you saw it, and you're like, okay.
Things started lining up, and things started happening in a way that I can't explain how it happened. It just happened. And the best part is that after removing the implants, so I was concerned about how I would feel about myself and my identity and my confidence, right? And throughout this process, God gave me so much confidence that I can say that I feel much better. I feel prettier without it.
I'm sure you would have never seen yourself or heard yourself saying that ever before.
I was like, oh my God, it's going to look ugly. If I wear a bikini or whatever, it's not going to be the same. I was afraid of so many things. But now that I've been 6 months in my recovery, actually right after I removed, even though my breasts were still kind of deformed, because these, when you remove, it causes a lot of damage. You move everything to different places it shouldn't be.
Right.
So, my breasts were square for a while. But the doctor told me, trust the process.
It will heal.
Just
will go to
be
normal.
patient. And I was like, okay. And I was being really patient. And then every day I was liking more and more my body and how I looked. And I feel much more confident without this. And that's, I think, the message I have to women especially, that we start doing these crazy things with ourselves. We put our lives in risk because of this. And then we can pay a high price. We can have horrible consequences for ourselves. People are now putting so much fillers and Botox and all this craziness, putting foreign substances, foreign objects inside our body. They are not made for our body. Even if the doctor tells you, oh, it's safe. No, they are not safe. They're not how you're supposed to be.
If they were meant to be there, God would have put them there.
Exactly.
They weren't there. Like,
exactly.
they're not safe to be putting these things in our body, these fillers, these injections, these all of these things in the hopes to just find this validity to be beautiful.
And some women go to extreme things and they put their lives at risk. Some even die doing surgeries, like Brazilian butt lift. It's very trendy.
Yes.
It's the most dangerous type of plastic surgery. And people are still doing it. They do liposuctions like, okay, I'm going to go and do a liposuction. Like, it's simple. No, it's a surgery. It's dangerous. Or they try to change their face. They try to change their body to something they're not supposed to look that way. And I think social media plays a very important
huge role
on that. So one thing I do, I never ever use filters and I never Photoshop my pictures because this messes up your mind. You start thinking you're not pretty and you start thinking, no, without the filter, I don't look good. And you start not liking yourself.
Wow. Yep, that's so encouraging for other people to hear that. It's true. All of a sudden, you're looking at yourself through this lens that's distorted, and then you're comparing yourself to people on social media who are photoshopping their body in 0.5 of a second. So they're literally just taking something and dragging something in and pulling something out and lifting something and photoshopping and all this like softening stuff.
Yes.
And it's not even real. So then you feel inadequate and like you need to go get some surgery to reach the standard of someone's app.
Exactly. And that it's fake. People are getting plastic and fake. They're using huge eyelashes, nail extensions, hair extensions, lots of makeup, lots of fillers. They're becoming something they're not.
Yeah.
And they are less and less confident with whoever they are. So this whole process made me recover my true identity, how God made me. And that's what I ask him to please help me recover my identity and be happy and comfortable with who I am and accept that you create me this way and you think I'm pretty, so I am pretty. And I start affirmating that for myself. And it did really happen. Because now I don't allow, if I see something that it triggers a bad thought, like, oh, look, she's so perfect. I want to look like that. I don't follow that person. I don't allow myself to go that route because then I'm being so, I can't remember the word in English. It's like I'm not appreciating God. I'm being, you're
like jealous of her. You're feeling like inadequate. You're feeling not good enough, right?
I'm feeling like God didn't make me right.
Yeah.
And he did. Everything is right. There's nothing wrong.
There's nothing
I'm
wrong.
healthy. I'm here, so I'm beautiful the way I am. So I don't allow social media to, put these things in my head anymore. And that's my message to women. Don't let these become your identity because this can kill you.
Any of the things that you're finding your comfort and your confidence and your validation in, like, don't let that become your identity. Your identity is in the Lord. Your identity is, if God calls you beautiful, you're beautiful and he made you. If God calls you worthy, then you're worthy because he made you. If you're doing it for this perspective of, oh, I want boys to think I'm like hot. I want guys to look at me. I want attention. I'm feeling like I'm not pretty. I want this. I want that. Like, why are you needing to get your source of comfort from other people affirming what you look like? Like, you're not living for them anyways. If you're living for the approval of God and how he created you, you're so beautiful and you're so worthy without all that.
Yes. And I think being natural is being beautiful. If you ask most men, they don't like when we put too much makeup.
Yeah,
they don't
true.
like. They prefer us natural. They don't like when we're using these crazy clothes and hair and makeup. They prefer us natural when we just wake up. They say, oh, you look beautiful. Like, no, I don't. Yes, you do. I just woke up.
Yes.
We put so much stuff on top of our face, our body. Men don't even like that.
It's true. And like,
why
the
we're
ones
doing
that do like that, sus.
Why
It's like,
are we doing this
yes,
in the
you're
first
so
place?
beautiful as you are and how you're created. It's so true. Wow.
Being ourselves, being natural, being who we should be. That's the purpose.
And who you are is where true beauty comes from. Like, that's great to have it all together and have the perfect body image that you're going for and all this stuff. But like, at the end of the day, your character shines through so much brighter than what you look like on the outside. So you could be this beautiful supermodel out here, but if your heart isn't a reflection of God's grace and God's beauty, like, what does it get you? It gets you another pretty girl out of millions in the world. Like,
yes. And if you ask a lot of people that do so many surgeries, they're so insecure, they couldn't find their identity in God. They don't know who they are. And anything they see or they're hearing influence them. And after you know who you are, then nothing else will influence you anymore. Like I don't let anything influence me. I don't care if the girls are using Photoshop or if they're doing surgeries, whatever they're doing.
Like, and that's for them. Like, not even to sit there and like judge them for it. Like, that's
Right.
for them, and that's for them to work through those convictions and those feelings and those thoughts. Like for you, people could have told you till they were blue in the face, like, Lydia, really, you should remove them. But if you're not feeling comfortable to do it,
Yes.
nothing's gonna change. So it's really,
Yes.
even the point of this is to walk alongside of them. And whoever's listening, if this is you, like, get to where you're going in your own pace and your own time, and like trust the Lord with it though. Like, just turn from God, and maybe it's a simple one step to that. Like, God, something about what I'm hearing, something about this message resonates with me. Something about what I'm hearing about not finding my beauty and just who you say that I am is resonating with me. And so I'm just going to send up a quick prayer. It's not going to be this put together perfect prayer. God, if you want me to change, if there's something in my heart that's off about it, if I'm finding too much of my identity in what I look like on the outside and not in knowing who I am in you, then will you change my heart? I just pray that you would speak to me. That's really what it is. Like, God, if this has truth to it, will you change my heart? And just see what God does with that. Just a little bit of like little reach for God.
Right. That's what I did to have the confidence to do it. Because, as I said, I wasn't prepared. Honestly, I wasn't. But it was a process. God took a while to prepare me step by step. And it was the best thing I did. So the first night I slept at home after the surgery, when I woke up for the first time in 16 years, I didn't feel any body pain, no aches anywhere. I woke up like I had an amazing night where I slept and I really rest because I couldn't. And it's funny because I got used to that in a way. I got used to have pain and soreness and aches everywhere that I didn't realize how bad it was until the day I removed. And the first night when I woke up, I was like relieved. And then I told my husband, for the first time in 16 years, I woke up and I'm not feeling any pain. I'm feeling amazing. And then things got better. My hair stopped falling. My hair was falling like crazy. My skin got better. My stomach got better. The joint pain got better. My blurry vision got better. The noise that I was hearing in my ears, like a very weird noise all the time. Sensitivity to light got better too. What else? So many things got better. I can't even explain
Even in
how
hearing you
much.
talk about that, I'm like, not only did God heal your body, but it also sounds like he healed your heart and he healed your mind.
Especially
Like,
my mind and
he
my
healed
heart.
your eyes to see yourself the way that he sees you. He healed your conversations to be able to speak with people in a way that changes them as well. So he healed every part
Right.
of you.
For sure. I was healed completely, like 100%. And I don't regret removing and I don't regret having it because if I didn't go through this whole process, I think I wouldn't find my real identity in God. So it was a whole process that I had to go through. So I don't regret the fact that I had to go through to learn something. That was the way it had to be.
That's
Could be
such an
different, but that's
inspiring
the way it
story.
was.
Yeah, and he changed you from the inside out, really,
Yes.
honestly. So, wow, that is such an inspiring story. Thank you. I'm so glad that I feel like God is so divine intervention and was like, this is the message that some of my daughters need to hear. So thank you
Yes.
for being so bold to share that and vulnerable in that.
Thank you for having me. I hope this testimony resonates with people when if they're going through these self-image problems, they learn that it's not who you are.
Yeah, all of those things. It's not who you are. So, thank you so much for listening in. And I just hope that this was an encouragement to you. I did want to give a quick shout out, really quick, to end this. Ligia is on Instagram. You could find her Instagram handle if you want to introduce that to everyone.
Yeah, so my Instagram is Ligia Invictus. I'm the owner of this studio, which is called Invictus Podcast Studios. That's why my My Instagram is Ligia Invictus, which is the business name.
Yeah, so also shout out to Invictus Studios for podcasting. But also, if you feel in any sort of way like what she was saying resonated with you, I'm sure, they could feel free to reach out and write her and just let her know that this story was what encouraged you to make similar decisions to follow the Lord in that kind of way. Because we really do overcome by the word of God and the power of our testimony. And this was so bold, and I hope that it was encouragement to you in some sort of way, and let her know. For my Instagram handle, you can find me at tristan.tice, and that will be all things personal. But then for this podcast, you can go to fillmycup.podcast. I hope this message spoke to you. I want to pray over you really quickly to any of the women listening to this that felt like this is the message for them. I want to pray for strength for you to follow through with that commitment. Like Ligia took a while to finally come to that decision and worked through it. And I think working through it was okay, but maybe in this moment there's a miracle that God could do to say, I want to show you your worth, and I'm going to show it to you as soon as you take these small changes for whatever you're feeling that conviction for. So, want to pray with me?
Yes, sure.
So, Heavenly Father, God, I just thank you. I thank you for Ligia's testimony. I thank you for the story that you've given her that's an encouragement to other young women, young girls that are finding their confirmation, finding their validity, finding who they are and what other people say about who they are. God, I thank you that their confidence is in you, Lord. It's not in any other thing. It's not in any sort of physical situation going on to try and mend any part of their heart that's broken, and knowing who they really are in you. I thank you that your word says they're fearfully, wonderfully made, God. They don't have to change anything. There's nothing wrong with them to fix. So God, if there's any woman listening to this that feels like there's a place of inadequacy in her, that she needs to do something or Photoshop something or filter something to be beautiful, that you would just have the ultimate word over their life, that you call them beautiful, loved, and worthy, that they are so much more than their bodies. They are so much more than that. It's about their heart, God. So would you just speak to them, allow them to be in this place of conviction, and strengthen them to have the courage to make any changes that you might be laying on their heart to do. I thank you, God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Bye.